Hey gang, Mocha Boy here. Welcome back. We are quite a few recordings into the Reddit Force AQ Healer CB Go Academy. One of the other attacks that just came in. This is from one of our top Town Hall 9s, Mav55. He is a more or less recent addition to Reddit Force, but he's been really embracing the new strategies. Really understands the execution of these, and is definitely one of our more beast mode attackers. He's been at this for maybe a couple of weeks, so he has a little bit of experience with this. And a couple of things that I want to note about the way that this particular base is laid out, and just a couple of general comments about how to plan for certain defensive layouts. Now, in this particular case, this southern portion of the base here, 90 DPS, 90 DPS, 40 or 30 DPS, but then there's quad Teslas here. Now, quad Teslas are absolutely deadly to Hogs, precisely because even under heal, they can out damage even a max heal on Hogs. You're talking about 400 DPS, all aiming at one hog. So in one attack round, or in like 1.5 attack rounds, they can take out a single hog. So the longer the hogs are, kind of out and about, plinking away at these other buildings, those Teslas are absolutely ripping them to shreds. That's why they're so deadly when you gang them up, in groups of 4 like that. Now, knowing that, probably what I would have done in a case like this would have been to either have one of the golems or even the BK either split or tank all of that DPS long enough for your hogs to go in and take out those point defenses. But really, really tough to deal with when you encounter them. Now, again, this is another one of those scenarios where I'm pretty sure he wanted the AQ to go right, but she ended up going left, and that's because of this ever-expanding arc, this targeting arc. The right after that gold mine, she's gonna go right after the Wiz Tower, then after the Wiz Tower, the Archer Tower, then after the Archer Tower, the house, and then after the builder hut, and then after the builder hut, the research hut. And then she'll continue moving completely in the opposite direction that you wanted her to go in. But again, it's not that big of a deal. The trigger range of the AQ is so big that you could attack the complete opposite side of the base and still gain access to her, even if you needed to. So not that big of a deal. The insertion squad, the kill squad, the coring squad. Now, one very interesting thing that I noticed here, would be very difficult to see this while you were in the heat of the battle, but this Expo is tied up on the AQ. The AQ has otherwise nothing else targeting her except for this Archer Tower. More than enough for 3 healers to out heal. This Golem has now tied up that mortar, these 2 cannons, and then potentially this mortar and that cannon as well. That means everything else is tied up on something that is just super tanky. If you notice something like that everything is dialed in on a tank, drop a single hog on those structures, and you'll watch them go down. So while they're busy shooting your tanks, you can have 1 or 2 hogs, just going away and plinking away at those point defenses, and you'll see that in just a second. So, I mean, if you look there again, Archer Queen, Golem, 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 Golem. You could have just, snuck in a couple of hogs there. Again, it's very difficult to do this with 30 seconds worth of planning, but if you happen to notice that, it's definitely one of those things to look for. Now, in this particular case, he lets his kill wizards just go in and clear all the trash. You had a perfect opportunity there to just kind of sprinkle in a few hogs to take out some of those buildings, but not that big of a deal. Unfortunately, by the end of the raid, it does end up coming back to bite you, because a lot of these buildings are still up, and then you lose some hogs to spring traps, but no big deal. The kill squad's in. Unfortunately, the kill squad's dead at this point, and you really want that golem. You really want those wizards to be alive to handle whatever's in the clan castle. And then this is what I was talking about with the DPS here. Now, these defensive arrangements are really deadly, because you have high DPS, high DPS, high DPS, and then even more DPS back here, followed by a Wiz Tower that softens everything up, or at least gets you into one-shot range, which is, you're talking 300, 400 DPS just on this side, 600 DPS if all four of these Teslas pop at the same time. So very, very difficult to out-heal, very difficult to handle without the right tanks. So, but you know what? He was still able to go in and 99% this base, whatever, it is what it is. You did miss with this giant, not that big of a deal. The the internal defenses were otherwise tied up. You could have saved that one giant for the south defenses here, but he finally does manage to get his BK into the core, and once the BK's tanking those Teslas, that gives the Hogs enough time to sneak up on the remaining Teslas and take them out. But unfortunately, he's used all of his heals. This is just one of those tricky bases where you have to be able to spot those DPS hotspots and plan accordingly with how to counter them. Now, in this case, he got lucky. His healers were still up, and the healers were able to go in and recharge those Hogs. But unfortunately, we lost the Hogs towards the end of the raid, and we ran out of time for the 3-star. So unfortunate, but a fantastic attack. You were right. There were a lot of things to talk about with the way that things were executed there, but all in all, no complaints. Just remember, two-point defenses. Try to find 2-point defenses that are not tied up, and get them tied up with one of those giants for the next attack.